So I know that you use a rather powerful process with your clients, and it includes what you describe as the three horizons, which are now, next, and later. Can you walk us through each of those kind of in plain language?
Yes. So the now is 0 to 90 days. It's execution, it's keeping commitments, it's hitting targets, it's keeping the lights on. Next is 3 to 12 months. In that phase, that's the repositioning. That's the how are you building capabilities? How are you building systems? And then what relationships are you working on that you know that you'll need soon? Not today, but very soon. And the third one later is 1 to 3 years from now. It's your direction and the bets where you want to place them. It's where you want your function to be, your team to be, your organization to be in the market against market headwinds, and what would eventually derail you or transform you, and how are you staying ahead of.
Okay. So can I ask you to go a little bit deeper with a real world example of each? So same leader, same team. What does now, next, and later look like for them?
Okay, so now would be something like delivering this quarter's key projects and performance metrics. Next would be implementing a new platform and upskilling the team to be able to use it before a certain product expansion.
Okay.
Then later would be repositioning that function as a strategic growth engine instead of a cost center. So reshaping talent, looking at different partnerships, and then the operating model over the next couple of years.
Okay. So what happens when the leader only focuses on horizon number one, the now?
They become world class at keeping up, but never at getting ahead. And so their calendar is full of work and it maintains today. It's great. It feels really good at the end of the day and the end of the week, even,
Hmm.
but it doesn't create a better tomorrow or next month or next year. And the future happens to them instead of happening through them.
Okay. All right. So quick reality check. So when leaders estimate their time split across those three horizons, what do they actually find out?
So what I hear from most is that in the now box, they say that they spend probably 60% of their time there.
Okay.
The next box, they spend probably about 30%, and they're looking at 10% of the later. So when we look at their calendar, there's a difference. So if you picture this as almost like a pyramid,
Hmm.
or we're trying to get it to a pyramid, and what it's at a triangle. So we're trying to get them to be able to see that the percentages aren't exactly where they think they are. So when we look at their calendars, what we're seeing is that it's closer to the 80%
Yep.
now. It's inverse,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe 18% is next, and then they're really only
2%.
focusing 2%
Okay.
or so on the later. And that
Right.
the other thing is that 2% isn't protected. That 2%, the later,
Gets
is
canceled.
one of the first things to get canceled.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So what do you tell them when they see that?
Well, sometimes it's evident, sometimes they need somebody to help remind them that you're not leading strategically. You're managing tactically. And a lot of them already know that, and that's a pain point. They just don't know how to transition it. So there's no shame in that part. And this isn't an exercise where we want to judge or say, you're not doing this right. But what we're saying is we have to name it honestly. If later never gets meaningful time, then you're not really steering the ship. You're just sort of keeping your finger in the hole from keeping it from sinking. And that's gonna stop you from sinking today, but it's not actually gonna get you across the ocean.
All right. So once the reality's on the table and they see where they stand, what's the practical first step? How do you help them translate that into something they can actually act on?
So we build them a now, next, and later map. It's pretty simple. It's a framework. Now, next, and later
Okay.
for one area of responsibility. Maybe it's their team,
Hmm.
or their organizational structure, or maybe it's a critical initiative that's coming up. But we list their top three now priorities, identify the next shifts coming in 3 to 12 months, and then sketch what success looks like in 1 to 3 years.
Okay. So what changes when they actually see that in front of them?
It's not just a pretty diagram or back of a bar napkin scratching, right?
Okay.
What changes is they actually get clearer decisions. They
Okay.
can then ask, what horizon does this next thing, decision, or action that I'm about to take, what horizon does it support? They see where they're overinvested, where they're spending too much time,
Hmm.
and also underinvested in the next and later components. So there's an imbalance there that starts to show itself. They also see work that doesn't connect to any horizon. And that's really often the work that needs to stop. It might be something that's been passed down as a requirement from senior leadership. But if you
Hmm.
can't explain how it doesn't connect to the horizon, you can't defend against spending your time or your team's time in that work. So, really understanding how the now and how the next and how the later all connects gives you that ability to be able to see what work is meaningful and ties to that versus doesn't.
Okay.